Welcome to Elemental Podcast. I'm your host, Stone.
And I'm your host, Windy.
Elemental is our brand new podcast where, as the name suggests, we will be diving into different elements of music.
We're going to be looking at all kinds of new drops, old drops, what kind of samples they're coming from.
Everything from mainstream to underground and somewhere in between. We're going to be highlighting tracks that stand out to us, finding samples from where the artist has taken the inspiration and worked off of it.
Look at who's producing it, working on it, lyrical-wise, instrumentation-wise. This first week might seem a little bit jam-packed. This is a podcast that we've been kind of planning out for a little over a month now.
Finally trying to get the ball rolling and hope you enjoy. Now let's roll into Elemental Podcast.
All right, so our first topic is going to be on Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar's recent single, The HILLBILIES.
Listen, man, I've been stuck on this song since it dropped, man. It was a song that Kendrick and Baby Keem snuck out on May 30th.
Popped out on YouTube out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Like, me and bro was just in class, and he sent me the link in class. And it's like everything after what our professor was talking about in class that day just sounded like Charlie Brown teacher after I heard that song. The drop was so fire, and I listened to it for so long, man. And I was just trying to find out where that beat came from. It's like I heard the beat, but I heard a beat behind it. So, I just was listening, and I kept telling him, I'm like, yo, this song is crazy, bro. Like, do you hear this? And it's not that the beat was just crazy. It's like Kendrick and Keem was just hitting certain pockets on the beat that enhanced the beat even further for me.
Yeah, Kendrick and Keem, they got to be one of my favorite duos out right now. I really love the way that they could just keep on bouncing back and forth on that beat.
Yeah, and it's like, once I seen Tyler in there, shout out to my Our Future family too. Once I seen Tyler in the video, I just felt like this was like a real sneaky, great drop. And to me, personally, it's one of the best songs that came out this year. But to find out where the music for that song actually came from, and us being future engineers, finding out where that music came from and that sample of that song was just amazing to me. It dug me down a few rabbit holes, and I've been sharing it with my boy.
Yeah, so this is going to take us back to that COVID-19 pandemic. If you guys have ever heard of an indie group, they're called Bon Iver from Wisconsin. This song is called PDLIF. It stands for Please Do Not Live in Fear.
Yeah, and with this song, man, Bon Iver, they made this song in the height of the pandemic, in 2020 when the pandemic first started, and all the proceeds from the song went to COVID relief, like people whose family was dying unabruptly and all that type stuff. So that song made so much sense, man, and I just really was enamored by Kendrick about that for making his song out of that song.
Yeah, the way that beat went from Bon Iver over to Kendrick and Keem is really a crazy transition, but like Bon's song is really, it fits for that time. It's got a lot of emotion to it. You can hear it.
Yeah, the wordplay in the song, the writing, the harmonies in that song, and you hear that same beat over in Kendrick's song too, Kendrick and Keem's song. But when you go and find out where that song comes from, it's a trilogy of songs off of one beat.
A sample of a sample.
A sample of a sample. And in hip-hop, we're used to samples. We're used to hearing samples in music. I'm not used to an indie folk band or indie rock band sampling other artists. So that, to me, was a find in itself. So I'm going to give y'all a taste of this original sample. It's a guy named Alabaster de Plume. It's a song called Visit Croatia. So we're going to pull that song up and let y'all get a taste of that. And I'm going to go down the rabbit hole that I went down. I'm going to show all the fans of how the situation. So let's get into Alabaster de Plume. He's a guy as a jazz musician. He's been around for a long time. He's currently been on tour with Bon Iver and out of overseas dates and stuff like that. He's a jazz musician that I'd never heard of until this, and I've been digging down in his music and realized, his music is very sampleable. It's very dope. And, y'all get a taste of this and let me know what y'all think.
Yeah, Alabaster, he comes from Manchester. He's got a lot more popularity on that European side of the boat. So this Croatia song does not have a music video. This one's just going to be the audio, but the other two, PDLIF and HILLBILIES, both do have the video.
Definitely. Amazing, man. So crazy that Bon Iver took this song and did what he did with it. I'm still in amaze every time I hear it.
It's still amazing just hearing this and knowing that it came into that Baby Keem song.
Yeah. And like my boy, like, you know, he knows music, but, you know, he's a little younger, so he's not on the sample game as heavy as I am. And, like, he gets amazed when I show him certain things like this. But let's listen to this, though. All right, so y'all hear that. Y'all hear the smoothness of that jazz song from Alabaster de Plume. Shout out to him. Shout out to his greatness and what he's doing. But let's see how Bon Iver took that and made that into a great song in 2020. That Alabaster de Plume song is from 2012. So 8 years later, this is what Bon Iver has done to it. And mind you, I love this song.
It's definitely a special song for a lot of people.
Yeah. I'm mad I never heard it before this, though. Song called Please Don't Live in Fear during the height of COVID. Can't tell me this isn't artistry.
Yeah, they said this one was recorded in isolation in a cabin in the woods.
Yes. All right. Y'all hear that, right? When you, like, out of nowhere, like, I've heard of Bon Iver before. I know Kanye has a song with them. On his My Twisted Dark Fantasy album.
My Dark Twisted Fantasy.
My Dark Twisted Fantasy, excuse me. Excuse me, Kanye. Excuse me, true. But, you know, I feel like that song, the song that Bon Iver and, Justin Vernon from Bon Iver created along with other writers and stuff was a great capture of 2020 at that moment. When I listen to that song, it brings me back to...
So we went to Alabaster, and we went to Bon Iver.
And now we're going to go to the HILLBILIES, baby.
I love the energy from this video right off the rip.
Now, you just as a musician and as a fan, man, this song is...
It's taking something so emotional and so special and then making it hype and fun.
Big John said, how do they get cars in Dodger Stadium?
155 grams of protein.
I would dance right now, but I don't want to fuck up what we doing. Like, this is my bop right here. And you hear the Bon Iver sample so deep within that. And if you look through the credits of the song, you see Bon Iver, you see Justin Vernon's name, his co-writers of that song. You see Alabaster de Plume in that song. So if you ever wonder in hip-hop songs, when you see all of these people and you think people have co-writers, it's from samples. You know what I mean? It's from them using songs from older people, and they have to give credit to that. So you may see 20 to 30 writers in there because it's not normal to see that many writers in the song. So when you do, know that it's because they're using older music in their songs and make it better. Because this song is so fucking fire to me. I'm sorry.
This song is such a fun beat, bro.
Yeah.
It keeps you moving the whole time.
Yeah. The beat to this song is fire, but the way they rapped in pocket on it.
Shout out Tyler.
Yeah, shout out Tyler. Shout out to the producer of this, Evil Giant, from New York, from Surf Gang. He's a great producer. He's on Uzi. He's done Cardi, A$AP Rocky. I think with this one, he's going to take off after this, because anytime you can produce for an artist like Kendrick and the song pops off, you're on to a whole different track of production and next level of dealing with artists. So I like to give props to him too for what he's done, because this song is amazing. For him to take that sample, he did great. For real, for real.
Yeah, this is a great song. I think we cover most of this one for the Hillbillies, for all the samples. So we're going to move on to our next topic. We got some samples on Young Thug and Metro Boomin's Business is Business.
Man, that album, just to me, you gotta excuse me. Free Thug, by the way, free Jeffrey. You know what I mean? I have a deep passion for Young Thug. I think his lyrical ability, his rap schemes, and how he rap is just a one-on-one. I think his presence is missed in hip-hop. So I'm kind of elated that we got this album, but I was even more elated when we got the album version from Metro. Metro did great things when he reordered that album, because at first I really wasn't feeling it. It sounded outdated, but I think Metro put it in a form to where it sounds new. Yeah.
Business is Business, Young Thug and Metro Boomin. On June 23rd is when we got the OG version from Thug, and then 3 days later, I believe on Monday the 26th, is when we got Metro's version. Now, there's really two main differences between these versions, and that's going to be the order of the track list. Metro's version was different from the original version, and he's also got 2 extra songs on there. One of those has got Juice WRLD and Nicki Minaj on it.
Yeah, I think my favorite song out there is the ones that he has with Drake on there. I love those. I love the one with 21 Savage.
Yeah, 21's been going on his run too, man.
21 is just on.
He's a feature killer.
Yeah, he's a feature killer. We gonna get to a lot of 21 in the next couple of weeks.
I hope so.
Yeah, we're gonna get to a lot of 21 because a lot of his music has samples and that need to be broken down and need to be told to the people. Because I think a lot of youthful listeners and casual listeners, they hear 21, but they don't hear the greatness of what he's rapping off. And, you know, between him, Drake, J. Cole, a few other artists that we're going to tap into during this podcast and give y'all a feel of that older music that makes this new music great. But the Thug album, man, I'm just glad we got it given the situation that he's in, honestly. But it's a lot of great music on there, and there's a lot of music I'm really not, you know, I could tell that it's old, but it's still Thug, so I like it.
Yeah, that's true. Thug has always been good at delivering his sound. I think between these two versions, I think Metro's version is a little bit better, just with like the order of the track list. The other thing that happened was on July 4th, Metro announced that there was a few mixing changes on about 5 of the tracks. Personally, I didn't listen to the albums enough to be able to tell any differences, but there's a handful of samples on this project as well, and we're gonna start it off with Metro's version with that tracklist order. So we got Jonesboro is the first one.
Man, Jonesboro with the Smokey Robinson sample, man.
I can't wait to get into Smokey Robinson. You're gonna hear that name a few times.
Yeah, like I put my boy Windy on to some greatness about a little over a month ago, you would say, probably.
Yeah, it was when that Kenny Mason dropped at the beginning of June.
Yeah, Kenny Mason had this song, and thankful he put me on to Kenny Mason. I've heard of the artist before. I've seen him actually before, but I've never really dug into his music, you know. He played something for me, and instantly the samples was stood out. And we Googled the sample that day, and he was amazed because he's like, damn, I'm thinking somebody's just making this sound. I'm making this beat. And I'm like, bro, that's a sample.
Little did I know that thing was made 50 years prior.
Yeah. It's like, and that's the thing where we talk about with elements of music. Music is timeless. Music is forever.
That's true.
We're all going to leave here. Music is still going to be here. Music is still going to be made. It's going to be reinvented. It's going to be things that's taken from now, right now, being used 20, 30, 40 years later. You know what I'm saying? Like Smokey Robinson, like Marvin Gaye, you know what I'm saying? And I think for the new artists to appreciate the artists like Smokey Robinson and the Marvin Gayes and the Teddy Pendergrasses and the James Browns, like to get that music in today's music is a blessing, you know what I mean? But I also believe that the knowledge of that needs to be given, and that's why me and Windy are here.
Yes, sir, we're here to teach, we're here to educate.
Yeah, but that Jonesboro song is one of the best songs on that tape to me. It's one of the most heartfelt songs. I kind of know where Thug was coming from with that joint, for me living in Atlanta at a point in time. But I just think that sample, you know, hearing Thug over that sample was beautiful, for real. Yeah,
that Smokey Robinson track on Jonesboro is called The Hummin' Song from 1977.
Man, that song is 46 years old. That's a 46-year-old song on a song by Metro Boomin produced with Young Thug on it. Like, you gotta understand the elements of music. Like, these two dudes wasn't even born yet, and they're sampling an artist that their parents listened to, that their parents vibe to, and I just believe, like, the new generation of musicians, the new generation of fans, the new generation of creators, they all need to know this stuff going forth, and that's why we're here.
I'm not gonna downplay that Smokey Robinson being old at all, but the next track on there, Uncle M, that one is an even older sample, almost 100 years old. O Fortuna by Carl Orff, that's from 1937.
And listen, man, I can't even, me being in depth with music, I've never even heard of this. But I went back and listened to this song so much and went back and listened to that sample. And you talking about being amazed, man, like the amazement in that is really like what gets me, you know what I'm saying? Us being professionals now in what we do, but I feel like learning those type of things still keeps me as a student, you know what I mean?
And even though the sample is still old, it might still sound familiar because it's already popped up on songs with artists from Nas, Puff Daddy, Meek Mill, Cam'ron.
And I think when Thug spun it, he put his own twist on it. He took his own twist and put it on it. And,
Oh, for sure.
And it made it evolved the record. And that's what I say about records that are old like that and they're being sampled. They're still relevant because even though they're newer songs, they're still being evolved in newer times, newer fans get to hear them. So this is why we call this Element, man, because it's a whole lot of elements and details in the music that some of us overlook. We just listen, but it's a lot of greatness in the elements that I think we should pay attention to, too.
Yeah, because this Thug sample is still a lot newer than all those artists that I just named. I think the Meek Mill one was about 2016, but all the other ones was late 90s, early 2000s.
Facts.
And that's still pushing 60 years after the original song.
Facts. So what about your boy Kenny Mason, man? Since you put me on, this is one of my favorite new artists I've got a hold to lately.
Yeah, Kenny Mason is on his come up. I'm glad to see him gain some traction finally. I've been paying attention to Kenny Mason for at least a few years now. I liked his track Hit that he dropped way back then. Kenny Mason, he dropped his EP titled 6. That was on June 6th of this year, and it was 6 tracks long.
It was 6, dropped on the 6th month, on the 6th day, with 6 tracks.
That's right,
I
and
just
that's
caught
following
wind of that.
that's following his EP called 3. That was 3 tracks dropped on March 3rd. He's already talking about a track called a tape called 9 dropping on September 9th, and that's
fire.
supposedly another 9 songs coming.
That's
Can't wait for that.
Great creativity right there.
Yes,
Great
sir.
artistry to think of that and execute it. Because a lot of people think of things and don't always execute it. So it's good that he's executing that because, like, you're one of his fans. You know what I mean? You've been riding with him for a minute, so you're looking forward to that.
Exactly.
So when you grow a fan base, they're looking forward to the things that you present. That's fire. Shout out to Kenny Mason, man. Shout out to his greatness. Especially the song with Project Pat. You did that, bro.
That's right, bro.
For real.
Between 6 and 3, there is 3 different songs that have samples. That Project Pat song was the outro for 6. That was a really fire song.
Yeah.
The first sample that we have on 6 is from the song called Rich. That sample comes from Honey and the Bees, and it's from 1970.
Yeah.
That track is called I'll Spend My Life Loving You. Man, that track is smooth. I'm about to put it on right now.
Let's go. You need to. Shout out to Kenny Mason, man.
Shout out Coop.
Shout out producer Cool. You producing some hot shit, my man. Yeah, this joint is fire. Like, you get a beat like this, you ain't got no choice but to go in. Like, it's like, man.
Floating on the beat.
Man, him and that beat is like a great married couple right now, for real.
And I've been saying Kenny and Coop, they're like bread and butter, man.
I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to 9-9 now.
Not even 2 months from now.
Yeah, we there.
Yeah, I'm about to put on that Honey and the Bees real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah, I think that's the thing, man. Like, what we do here, we're going to give you the song that's relevant now, but we're going to give you the origins of the song because you need to understand, man, there's a lot of producers out here that are geniuses. And, you know, these dudes is young, and they digging back in the crates and getting, you know, legendary music from stuff that our parents and our grandparents listen to. And I feel like, you know, music should always be appreciated, no matter how old it is. We should always appreciate it and rock with it. You know what I mean?
All right, here comes Honey and the Bees.
Ooh. All I need is a J and a drop-top Cadillac, baby. I can see me and my boy Windy right now. Now, see, for me, I love Kenny Mason in them songs, but this right here, I'll be riding to this right here.
Oh, this is smooth as hell. Kenny Mason, he just got a real great feature sample selection.
Facts.
Kenny and Coop, they be picking out them samples.
This joint is tough.
Now, one thing I'm gonna have to let y'all know, if you go check out 6, the transition from Rich to I Got. That is a flawless transition.
One of the best transitions I heard in music this year. For real. What's the next song you want to do, bro?
The next song is Dracula, the Smokey Robinson track we was talking about. This one, if you thought Rich was good, you better get blown away.
Let's go. Let's play that.
It's got the Smokey Robinson vocals off rip.
Crazy, because Smokey's still touring. Hey.
It's another 70-year-old song, or 50-year-old song almost.
Man.
1970s.
This is what we talk about. We talk about elemental, man. You know, when you have the elementals of the songs, the details. Psh. Yeah, Kenny has definitely become one of my new favorite artists. Thanks to my boy Windy. That joint fire.
Alright, now we better show y'all that Smokey Robinson real quick.
Man, Smokey. All I can remember was my grandmother in the kitchen cooking. She used to love Smokey. Still touring, bro. Smokey still getting it back. Facts. Listen to this. See what we talk about when we talk about elementals? It's like trying to build a building without foundation. You gotta have that music, man.
You don't hear nothing coming out like this these days.
Nothing. But that's why I love it when the young boys take it and spin it and make it to what we at right now, in the zones we in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some people can be discredited in sampling, but sampling is truly an art.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you appreciate it like I do, brother. Because we be vibing out. Like, we just be back and forth in text talking about all these different samples, bro.
That's factual. Yeah. Now, the last sample that comes from the Kenny Mason project, this one was from the other part of it, the B-side, the 3 tape. It's that first song. It's called 100 or None, and it's actually sampled from H-Town 1993 track called Knockin' the Boats.
Ooh,
Knockin' the Boots?
Knockin' the Boots. That was a listen, bro. When that song first dropped, bro, that's a classic song. And I think it was like their only song. I don't even remember them making another song. At least not that big, but they had a great ass song right there.
So this is 100 or None. This was the first single on his tape 3. This one is this real chill song.
Yeah, I could hear the Knockin' the Boots all through that already. Damn, Kenny be going in. Hey, yo, Coop, producer Coop, just know whenever you see this, we giving you all the props in the world for digging in them crates like that, family. You going
facts.
the fuck in, bro. Everything I hear from you is just some classical shit, bro. And you and Kenny got so much chemistry, dog. Sheesh.
It's unreal.
Man.
Coop makes fire with Nudie, too.
Yeah, facts.
Coop's in that Atlanta bag.
Heavy.
We'll put on that Knockin' the Boots real quick.
Yeah, it's so dope that, you know, artists like that really just tap into the greatness that was happening before them. Like, they just don't think the music they making is the only music. I like that, yo.
Oh, yeah.
You hear it, right? Classic.
Instantly.
See, this is what I
It's
like
hard to
those-
choose which one's my favorite though.
though.
Like,
Yeah, bro. Because you could hear the old one and you hear the new one.
and they both sound
And
so
They
good.
both sound fire. It's not like they taking from bullshit songs. They taking from fire-ass songs that was hits, bro. I can't say about the Smokey in them because that was before my time, but like This one
Fever
here,
for the Flavor.
man. I remember this joint. The last night.
Yeah, that's
when
called.
we made good love. Listen what he about to say. Listen to some Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye. Shout out Marvin
I took
Gaye.
my boy down the Marvin Gaye rabbit hole a couple of weeks ago. We're going to touch more on Marvin. We got a lot to talk about with Marvin. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get back to him on a future episode for sure.
All right, man. So I think the last topic that we're about to head into for sample-wise is going to be that Lil Uzi Vert, that pink tape that we finally got last week, 2 weeks ago. So pink tape, I'm sure we all know. This was a very long-awaited tape. Uzi likes to take his breaks. He likes to spit a little bit of cap out here and there. So we finally got this on June 30th. Uzi's first official album since 2020. In 2022, a little bit over a year ago, we dropped Red and White tape, which was a little, teaser tape for Pink tape. And then back in 2020 was when we got Eternal Atake and we got Baby Pluto and Pluto with Future. Yeah. So those were definitely two good albums. Pink tape came in, and as per usual, it's got a little bit of mixed reviews, but it's staying on the charts.
I just think artists like Uzi really can't lose. I just think his fan base is so solid. Even when other people may not like the music that he's evolving to and putting it out or growing into, I think an artist like Uzi is going to stay where he is regardless. Like, his fan base is what it is, and he caters to that fan base. And I think it's sometimes where other people may not like it, it may not just be for them. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean it's bad. It may not just be for them. It may just be particularly for his fan base. And I like Uzi as a person. I like Uzi grind. I like how keeps transforming, and I mean, he doesn't stay, stagnant. He keeps transforming as an artist, and I think that's very dope. So I got a lot of love for Uzi.
Yeah, I would say Uzi's up there for me too. Uzi's got a good sound for him. He's got like his very own sound almost. I mean, you can maybe compare him a little bit to like artists like Cardi and maybe Lucky, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But Uzi's always had his sound, and even though he's really stepping outside the box with this sound, it still sounds like Uzi.
Hey, yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Not to hop off the Uzi topic, but we gonna have to touch on this Lucky topic.
Oh, you heard it? You heard that album, bro? I completely forgot to add that to the list, bro. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, bro. We gotta tap into Lucky. I don't even care if it's not a sample on that album. Like, even though I know it is. But that album is solid. Like, he really did a great job, man. Shout out to Uzi. Shout out to DJ Drama. Shout out to Don Cannon and all those guys over there, you know what I mean, for keeping Uzi at that superstar level where he at. Because whether we like it or not, Uzi's a superstar.
That's facts.
You know what I mean? He's a superstar in music. He's very relevant. He can tap into damn near icon level. He keep making the right albums, because
I agree.
He's a young dude, and I feel like his fan base love him so much, and
he's got that cult following.
Yeah, and he has a personality. You know what I'm saying? He has a personality, and he has a lot of great characteristics about him that don't just make him a rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
And you really can't just fit him in a box. So I appreciate artists like Uzi because, especially as a professional, like when I took my ear from being a judgmental ear as a fan into a professional, and you understand what dudes like Uzi be doing, like you appreciate it a lot more, that he takes time with his craft and he appreciates his craft. So shout out to them. Shout out to that whole team, man. Like they've been doing great things with Uzi and Harlow and all them over there for sure.
Yeah, Uzi came in with this pink tape. It was 26 tracks. 23 of them was like the full-length album. The last 3 were bonus tracks. There was a lot of different sounds throughout this album. I'm gonna just try to brush over the features or the samples real quick. The first track that was a sample is track number 5, Crush 'Em. That song samples a song called The Coven by Peter Gundy. And if that sounds familiar, that's because it's another song that samples that track is going to be Dior from Pop Smoke.
Ah, got you.
So that one's got a little bit of familiarity to it.
I wonder if Uzi sampled it because like an ode to Pop Smoke, like in honor of Pop Smoke. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
Yeah, because
Uzi puts a little bit of that drill sound.
Yeah, and Pop was, he's a very favorable guy. You know what I mean? God bless Pop Smoke. Rest in peace.
Yeah, between the industry and the fans, I think a lot of people got a lot of love for Pop.
Yeah, so that would be dope if Uzi actually did that. You know what I'm saying? Actually sampled that just as an ode to Pop Smoke. That would be fire.
The sample that came after that one, though, is a little bit funny. It's the Endless Fashion with Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
That sample is Blue Dabadi by Eiffel 65.
And you know, that was like a disco popish song. and that's why everybody loves that song, because that's why I say about Uzi when we saying we can't like put him in a box. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is like two different songs from two different eras, and it's just artists having fun, bro.
Yeah, facts. And him and Nicki are like, you know, they top of the food chain.
Uzi's like king of hip hop, like pop almost, and then Nicki Minaj is like the queen of rap.
So it's right there. You know what I'm saying? I can't get mad at nothing Uzi do, because like I said, you can't put him in a box. So he has to be someone that you observe outside of that box, and you're happy with the things that he does, because you know he's not in that box already. You know what I'm saying?
Now, we still got some real interesting samples on this still. The next one is gonna be the track "Mama I'm Sorry." That one doesn't. I don't think it has any actual instrumental samples, but it has the lyrical samples. He's got two of the Chief Keef songs from 2012, "Love Sosa" and "Hate Being Sober," and then he also samples somebody that I used to know from 2011. Gautier? What is it? Gautier?
Gautier.
From 2011 from Gautier and Kimara. That's another classic. Some people were a little upset just because it doesn't seem like he did a whole lot to that song, but it's a fun little song again.
I just think like, I think people sometimes are too judgmental of artists, and you have to be appreciative of artists. It's like when you had Michael Jackson and you had Prince, and they stepped out the box and did certain songs that you wouldn't expect them to do. I feel like as rappers, as fan of rappers, sometimes we try to box our favorites in.
I can definitely see that, because some people are set on having their artists, they want that one specific sound.
They want the same song every time.
You're not going to get that. Only so many artists are going to sit there and sit in that same bag over and over again, and for some people, it just does not work.
Nah, and I feel like we have to appreciate the artists for the artistry that they exert to us as fans. You know
Absolutely.
Like, we can't just keep saying, I want him to do this, I want him to do that. You gotta. That's why the old music is still there. It's still relevant. You don't have to keep making it, and we can go back to that. Like, I want to see you evolve as an artist, so I'm cool with that.
I really like the sample that came after that I found was the song is called Nakamura, and that song, that sample is from a Japanese WWE wrestler, Shinsuke Nakamura. It's his intro song called The Rising Sun.
See, only Uzi could do some shit like that.
It's
bro.
crazy, man.
Only
it's
Uzi.
crazy. It's a WWE intro song. It's hype as hell.
Yeah, only Uzi could do some shit like that, bro. Yo, can you pull that song up?
Yeah, I got you real quick.
Bro. I want to hear that, yo. Nah, cause Uzi is crazy. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised at that. You know what I'm saying? Now, as engineers and as people who work in the music, you can see what you could do with that.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? You can see that.
Pitch it up, pitch it down, slow it down, speed it up.
Exactly. And that's something that Uzi would tap into. Because to me, like an artist like Uzi, he doesn't have a limit on his sound.
See, like, this is already like a hype intro song, and then it just sounds like Uzi just gave it so much more movement and energy.
That's fire. Yeah. So this is where I talk about the elements. Now look, we talking about elements of sampling music. This dude is sampling a wrestler's intro. So there's no bounds. There's no boundaries on sampling. There's no boundaries on elements of music, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's crazy. Because you hear that sample all through the song. You know what I'm saying? Look at that, bro. The dude made a song out of a wrestler's intro, bro.
That's different.
Yeah.
Tell me someone else who's done that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the same thing about his outro, the end.
Yeah,
different. Pop, core, metal, trap, rock, and an anime outro all in the one song.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
See, quote unquote core hip hop fans, they get mad when Uzi do stuff like this. They want to hear Uzi continue to do the trap rap and stuff like that.
And
bro.
I still think he's managed to keep that sound while stepping out of his box.
Exactly. But they'll hear this and they'll think, oh, he's, you know what I'm saying, he's doing something different, not realizing what that is musically. When you look at the elements of it musically, that's a fire-ass song, you know what I'm saying? For where he made that from, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that song's going in for sure.
All right.
There's one or two more samples left on this one. They're nothing too crazy. It's Fire Alarm samples an EDM artist by the name of Justice. Their 2007 track called Stress.
That's crazy.
That one you can hear throughout the whole song. Yeah, sampled the EDM artist. Still made his Uzi sound. And then the last one is a song called CS. It's a cover of the 2011 song Chop Suey from System of a Down. So that one actually contains production credits from the legend Rick Rubin, as well as a couple other
Shout out
guys,
Rick Rubin.
Darren Malakian and Serge Tankian. I'm not sure if I say that correct.
Yeah, I appreciate like artists that could take from. It's just like we was talking about with Kendrick and them, but like Bon Iver taking from Alabaster to Groom. You know what I'm saying? It's like you hearing sounds from different artists and different genres coming into our lane. You know what I mean? Our lane of hip hop. To me, that's just like, there's no boundaries on music, man. I just want other people, like how me and my boy appreciate the elements of music. Like, we trying to make y'all understand it and appreciate it more, because it's so much to it. There's so much to do with it, and it's so much for us as fans to enjoy from it. Because you got to think, we could listen to music from 2023 and go back and listen to music in 1970, and it's relatable. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like as fans, we should take advantage of this gift and this blessing that we're given with music, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, the last thing that I want to tap into with this Uzi is just Uzi made a little comment about his album. You know, people were having mixed feelings about it, whatever. He says if this album tops the charts, if it hits #1, he wants to drop the album that we really want. Now, we know how Uzi likes to cap a little bit here and there, but he put a little bit of Love Is Rage 3 in his bio, and we also seen something about the Barter 16, which could be, what, a Young Thug collab tape?
Nah, I think he's doing something to honor Thug. So,
Okay.
You know, him and Thug was like real close.
Yeah.
So I think, a lot of dudes miss Thug, so I think he gonna, try to do something to honor Thug with that, which would be appreciated.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people are kind of going in that direction.
Yeah, we all miss my boy.
So the last thing we're gonna get into before we close this episode out is just gonna be some of the other new releases that have been coming out this past week, the past couple weeks. Obviously, I think a lot of people have heard of this one, Gunna, A Gift and a Curse.
Man, you want me to touch on this? Hey, listen, man, I'm gonna say this once. That's the best fucking album that done dropped this year, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say that album was up there pretty tight with Business is Business.
Yeah.
One of the main negative things I can say about the album, I'm not sure if they mastered it out, is just the thing, I'm sure y'all heard about it, is the little fire alarm ticking in some of the songs.
Oh, man.
That shit is actually funny as hell.
Yeah, you can hear the beeping of the dead battery and the fire alarm beeping.
The smoke alarm.
Like, at first I thought it was in one of his songs, then I kept hearing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I put it in my MacBook and put the headphones on and listen, like, I could hear it. When you hear it through studio quality headphones, you can hear it. But I'm not going to lie to you, man. Like, that album is solid. Maybe because he was going through some real life shit, and his name is being dragged through the mud. I like how he fought back.
Yeah.
I like that. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people, they tuck their tail, run and hide, or, try to troll through that situation. Like, I think rappers should rap. Like, whenever some shit is going on, if it's beef or some tragic shit, something, you should rap.
Rap it out.
And I feel like Gunna was the perfect example of that so far this year.
Yeah, he had a lot of hits on that project.
Yeah,
that song, Fuck You Mean?
Yeah, that Fuck You Mean.
That song, man. That song gets me going.
That is gonna be all right. Like, that shit, like, he got some heartfelt shit in them songs, man. Like, the way he was talking to Thug, it was like a audio letter. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I know him and Thug, whatever, like, I don't know. We don't know this shit. We don't know they size, where they stand at, and it's all of it is speculation. But it's like, for Gunna to approach this project the way he did, not on some fancy shit, not talking about all the fancy shit, not doing all that other shit. He was just talking from the heart, and I appreciated that. Like, I appreciated where Gunna came from on this album, for real. Like, I love it, personally.
Yeah, Gunna did his thing for sure. I think I see a lot. I don't know if you see the same thing. People compare a lot with Gunna and Lil Baby. I think Gunna clears Lil Baby. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Lil Baby is one of those artists to me where he sounds very, very consistent in a lot of his music. I might not tap into it as much as I should, but Gunna, I love the way he flows on all these different beats. Everything is so, like, he's just floating, man. Like, Wanna, that was one of my favorite albums of that year.
Like, I'm gonna be real with you. To me, Lil Baby, My Turn album, that was a fire album.
Oh no, yeah, that was definitely some of his best work.
But I just feel like Gunna, how can I say it? Gunna's like maybe a better song maker, I should say.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm not gonna say he's a better rapper, because I think somebody could be a better rapper.
Yeah, because they're still they're still two quite different artists.
Yeah, they're similar but different at the same time. Because I think Gunna actually makes songs. You know what I'm saying? I think Lil Baby rap. He learned how to make songs over time, but I think Gunna kind of had that already locked in. I think Thug might have helped Gunna with that a lot too, because Thug is good at making songs. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a good way to put it for sure.
Yeah. So, I hate to see, their little odds, you know what I'm saying, at the way it is, because I think Gunna and Lil Baby make great fucking music. Like, to me, they made music that, it's a timestamp for me in certain parts of life. And I'm kind of heated that they won't be making music or per se, but given the situation right now. Hopefully that subsides and everything get back to normal. Hopefully they free Thug, free Jeffrey. But, if not, I guess we got to, appreciate them for what they are, solo artists, you know what I'm
saying? Next one we got, Safe House, Danny Towers and DJ Scheme, that dropped a couple weeks ago. I think that one's a little bit more low-key. DJ Scheme, he's got some good artists that he works with, Ski Mask.
DJ Scheme is out here. He's really out here. I'm not going to even lie to you. I'm not a Danny Towers fan.
I can understand that. He's definitely got a little unique style of rapping. I tapped into this album just a little bit. There was a couple songs that stuck out to me, one of them being Denzel's track on Creepin'. And then obviously the Ski Mask and Lil Tyler song that came out, Florida Water, that was a good song as well. I would say similar thing, a lot of similar tracks on that album that don't really stand out a whole lot, but it still got some good tracks on it.
Like, I don't think he's a bad artist or anything at all. I just feel like
he's just very subjective,
Music is subjective. I feel like everything isn't for everybody. Like, so no knock to him. Like, I wish him all the best. I know, he's with Scheme. Scheme gonna try to push for the best scenarios for him. But, and I hope his project does well, for sure.
Yeah, we also got Alchemist little tape that he dropped, Flying High, 4 tracks.
Shout out to ALC, man.
Alc be doing his thing, man. He's been putting out a lot of heat this year.
Shout out to ALC, man. That's my favorite producer ever. I just want Alchemist to start rapping again, because I think people forgot that he could actually rap.
Alc is that guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge Alchemist fan. And not even for the fact that he's done music with some of the people that I work with and love, but like, I love Alchemist's music. Like, in my downtime, that's probably all I listen to, is like his production. I could listen to his instrumentals all day, just because they just put me in a different zone. Like, he's a true beat maker.
I like how he does that too sometimes. Like with this tape, he got the 4 songs and then he's got the 4 instrumentals right behind it.
Yeah, because I think from an artist perspective, Alchemist knows that we want to hear his instrumentals. Like, we love to hear the rappers on it, but we love to hear
his instrumentals are special by themselves.
Man, like, I remember he did, I think it was the Action Bronson album. He did a Bronson album, and then he made a fucking instrumental version of that album.
Is that the one with Dimitri on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that album is cold.
Yeah. So yeah, I deal with it. I like it a lot.
After that one, we got Sunburn by Dominic Fike. That one just dropped last week, I believe. Dominic Fike, he's got some nice, alternative R&B kind of sound.
That's the one you sent me. I kind of like where he's at with it right now. I'm going to dig deeper into his catalog, because I like listening to artists' new music, but I like seeing how they transition to where they at now. You know
if you're not familiar with Dominic Fike, there's one song that I would recommend. It's called Phone Numbers. That's produced by Kenny Beats. That's one of my favorite producers.
Yeah, that's the one you sent me. That was fire.
Phone Numbers is a good song.
Yeah, that's a fire song.
But this album, Sunburn, I just watched an interview with him and Zane Lowe just last week, and he's talking a lot about this album is a little bit older, about 3 years older, I believe, and he just kind of had to go through some rehab and a lot of other stuff to make sure it was perfected and it was ready to drop it at the right time. And similar to that story with that album, we just got today was Tragic Love Songs to Study To, Volume 5. That's by Duck Boy, but that's actually Ruby the Cherry from Suicide Boys. This is his first. That's his first solo project. He just announced that a couple of days ago. Just dropped it last night.
I'm gonna listen to it just cause he came.
It's real short, man. It's 7 tracks. It's only 12 minutes.
Oh, it's more of an EP.
3 of those tracks are really not even a minute long. They're just little voicemails. So it's basically 4 tracks, but. That's Ruby taps into a different sound from the Suicide Boys' normal sound. Like, this is a lot more rock and roll-esque than their normal sampling, their old school hip hop, boom bap type of sound. So this is real interesting, and I like the first song and the last song on that too. Were pretty good.
Yeah, tapping into a different bag. I like that.
Yeah. I got Scaring the Hoes DLC pack dropped last week, I believe on Tuesday.
Hey, man, don't scare the hoes, bro.
That's JPEG Mafia, Danny Brown. They released four more tracks that didn't make the Volume 1 that came out in March. And then the other two albums that we got to check out is 222 that just dropped by Lil TJ and Grandson by King Von.
Shout out to them both. Shout out to Lil TJ.
Rest in peace to King Von.
And rest in peace to King Von. King Von was one of the. I think King Von would have been right there at the top of the food chain of rappers right now. He still would have been alive if the feds wouldn't have charged him.
Yeah.
Because he had a lot going on.
No, he's definitely an aggressive spitter.
Yeah, but his rhyming was, I guess it was real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we look back at it, it was real life. And, rest in peace. Peace and love to his family. Shout out to Lil TJ. Shout out to the Bronx. You know what I mean? Lil TJ, I'm glad he survived his incident. And I'm glad he back out here rapping.
Yeah, absolutely.
He got
that was some crazy stuff to see.
Yeah, he got a fire song with NBA Youngboy I like too. You know what I'm saying? Off that album. So that's cool. I want to see these young dudes be successful, stay healthy, stay alive, man. Y'all making a lot of money. So I hope y'all stay out here and stay alive and y'all got people that love y'all, man, and y'all supporting a lot of people, so, stay safe out here.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to do better in this type of community.
Definitely. Lil TJ, you a hot rapper, bro, so, people want to see you out here, so stay safe, my brother, please.
So, yeah, just going to try to check up on some of those albums throughout this next week so we can maybe touch up a little bit more on it next week. We got a lot more stuff dropping next week, too, for music-wise that we're going to have to go over, so yeah. I think this is it for this first episode. We threw a lot of stuff in here.
Drake dropped that album. We waiting, dog. Word, but we want to give a shout out, man, to our audio guy Lex, to our camera guys Los and my brother Brandon, and we want to give a shout out to Big Tay, our graphic design people. It's our squad, so we want to. This is a team thing that we doing over here, man.
Yeah, couldn't do this without our boys or without our help.
And we making this great, and we're gonna do some great things, and we're gonna be here weekly for y'all. Tap in, and yeah. Thank you for joining Elemental Podcast.
This has been Windy.
This is Stone.
And we're out of here.
Peace and blessings.